Hello, welcome to Chapter 13, The Great War. Before we begin, you will need to understand the chapter vocabulary, so you can take notes as we follow along. Section 1, Marching Towards War.
Militarism, a policy of glorifying a military power and keeping a standing army always prepared for war. For example, this photo of British soldiers waiting in London. Triple Alliance, a military alliance between Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy in the years preceding World War I. These are the flags of all three countries, Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy in the center. Kaiser Wilhelm II, the proud and stubborn royal leader of Germany and cousin to King George V of Great Britain and Tsar Nicholas II of Russia. You can see his photo here on the left, where he is easily identified by his handlebar mustache. Triple Entente, a military alliance between Great Britain, France, and Russia in the years preceding World War I. You can see their flags here, with Great Britain, France, and Russia in the center. Central Powers, the nations of Germany and Austria-Hungary, along with the other nations who fought on their side during World War I. The Central Powers would have included many countries, including these Turkish soldiers from the Ottoman Empire.
Section 2, Europe plunges into war.
Schlieffen-Plan, Germany's military plan at the outbreak of World War I, according to which German troops would rapidly defeat France and then move east to attack Russia. This is illustrated by these German soldiers, as evidenced by their spiked helmets, in a trench in France. Allies, the nations of Great Britain, France, and Russia, along with the other nations that fought on their side. This picture illustrates 7 of at least 20 countries and commonwealths who fought for the Allies. Trench warfare, a form of warfare in which opposing armies fight each other from trenches dug in the battlefield. These soldiers are Allied soldiers who are actually reading the newspaper in a trench. Western Front, the region of northern France where the forces of the Allies and the Central Powers battled each other. This is a picture of Indian soldiers from India who were members of the British Empire, and they also fought on the Western Front. Eastern Front, the region along the German-Russian border where the Russians and Serbs battled Germans, Austrians, and Turks. This is actually a photo of German prisoners of war with Russian soldiers as they're on the Eastern Front.
Section 3, a global conflict.
Unrestricted submarine warfare. The use of submarines to sink without warning any ship, including neutral ships and unarmed passenger liners, found in an enemy's waters. This is a photo of a German submarine or U-boat. Total war, a conflict in which the participating countries devote all of their resources to the war effort. Here are 2 photos. The first, a picture of an American reminder from the government not to waste food, and then also a picture of a Boy Scout selling war-saving stamps for the war effort. Rationing, the limiting of the amount of goods people can buy, often imposed by governments during wartime when goods are in short supply. And this is a photo of actually also in America of American rationing, which was encouraged by the U.S. government. Propaganda. Information or material spread to advance a cause or to damage an opponent's cause. Here are two examples of propaganda. The left is Canadian and the right is German. Armistice. An agreement to stop fighting. The World War I armistice was signed on November 11, 1911, and this is a photo of a newspaper declaring the armistice an end to fighting on that date.
Section 4. A flawed peace.
Woodrow Wilson, the U.S. president who championed a plan for international peace. President Wilson is easily identified by his unique eyeglasses, frameless lenses that were attached with a nosepiece. Georges Clemenceau, the French Prime Minister who was determined to punish Germany for the war. Prime Minister Clemenceau is easily identified by his large white mustache and his bald head. "14 Points. A series of proposals in which U.S. President Woodrow Wilson outlined a plan for achieving a lasting peace after World War I. This is actually a photo of President Wilson giving his 14 points proposals to Congress. Self-determination. The freedom of a people to decide under what form of government they wish to live. Voting was a big deal around this time, as votes for women was a hot topic before, during, and after the war in many countries. The Treaty of Versailles. The peace treaty signed by Germany and the Allied powers after World War I. This is a photo of the Palace of Versailles in France, where the treaty was negotiated. League of Nations, an international association formed after World War I with the goal of keeping peace among the nations. This is actually a photo of 4 of the Allied heads of state of Great Britain, Italy, France, and the US at the Palace of Versailles.